welcome back to Cindy's Library. I am Cindy, and today I am going to talk about my reading plans for July, specifically Jane Austen July. Yay! So excited. This will be my first one. Not that I haven't read all of Jane Austen's major works, but any excuse to me read more Jane Austen, right? So let's take a look at the challenges. I will post a link to the announcement videos, or at least one of them below, but these are the challenges. Read one of Jane Austen's main 6 novels, and the group reads this year are going to be Mansfield Park and Persuasion, 2 of my favorites. Quieter heroines, but that doesn't make their stories any less interesting to me. And so, yes, I am extremely excited to read these 2 again. Let's see, something by Jane Austen, not the main 6 novels. So for that, I've got Jane Austen's Letters. Now I have started this, but you can see how far I have gotten into it here, or rather how far I have not gotten into it. So I doubt I will finish all of Jane Austen's Letters in July, but I can certainly make a bit of a dent. My goal will be to read at least 1 letter per day for the month. And if I can do that, then we will call that good. So nonfiction about Jane Austen or her time. So I have not read What Matters in Jane Austen, 20 Crucial Puzzles Solved by John Mullen yet. So there, that's a bit better. But yeah, this is what I'm going to be reading for nonfiction about Jane Austen. And I'm excited. I've heard a lot of good things about this one. All right, read a retelling of Jane Austen. So I've got 2 for these. One of them I have not heard talked about, so I don't actually know how it is going to be, but I've heard of at least 2 retellings of Pride and Prejudice from Mary Bennet's point of view, or what happens after Mary Bennet, after the events of Pride and Prejudice. But no one ever talks about Kitty. Poor Kitty. She gets completely overshadowed by her beautiful and upright oldest sisters, and by her vivacious youngest sister. So, What Kitty Did Next by Carrie Coblan. And this is what it says. England, 1813. Kitty Bennet lives in the shadow of her 2 eldest sisters, both of whom had made excellent marriages. Left at home in rural Hertfordshire with a querulous mother and a father who dismisses her as silly and ignorant, Kitty is lonely and desperate to escape. So when her world unexpectedly expands to London and then to her sister Elizabeth's magnificent estate in Derbyshire, Kitty is overjoyed. Keen to impress this new society, she resolves to improve her mind and manners. She makes new friends, notably Georgiana Darcy, and attracts the attention of more than one eligible gentleman. All goes well until one fateful night at Pemberley, when a series of events conspires to ruin Kitty's reputation and she is sent home in disgrace. Her hopes and dreams are dashed, but Kitty is resilient. She has learned from her experiences, and what she does next will surprise everyone, including herself. So, excited to read this one? We shall see. And as a bonus, since I want to read it so much, and yes, it's not a direct retelling, but everyone And on BookTube, Austen Connect, it seems to be talking about this. Miss Austen by Gil Hornby. This tells basically about Jane Austen and her life. I guess the frame is Cassandra, after Jane's death, is going through some of her letters and things. Causes her to reflect on her sister. And so this is Jane Austen from Cassandra's point of view, which sounds like it should be fascinating. And the cover is absolutely gorgeous. Simple but gorgeous. So, read a book by a contemporary of Jane Austen. So, I have a confession to make. I wanted to read some Frances Burney. I've already read Evelina and enjoyed it, so I was thinking of Camilla maybe. Then I took a look at my copy, over 1,000 pages. I don't think I can do that and everything else in 1 month. So, well, a lot of other people seem like they are doing it. With rereading Mansfield Park, it does seem like a good idea, and that is Lover's Vows. Yes, the actual play they were going to put on in Mansfield Park. I forget who the author was, but we shall find out what was so scandalous about it. I suspect a lot of it had to do with the specific circumstances of the actors, but we shall see. So, watch a direct screen adaptation of a Jane Austen book. So, I'm kind of in a Sense and Sensibility mini-series mood. Not that I don't love the Emma Thompson Sense and Sensibility, but that's the most recent Jane Austen that I've watched, I think. But that may not be possible. I might not get to it. So if that ends up being the case, I'll probably rewatch one of the Persuasion adaptations. Either the, I guess technically it wasn't a mini-series, but it was put on 10, 12 years ago, aired on PBS, and then there's the 1985 one, so I'll probably watch one of those if I can't watch Sense and Sensibility. Then watch a modern adaptation of a Jane Austen book. So, for that one, July is going to be busy. Not that I am complaining, especially compared to last year, but we are going to be doing a family reunion in the middle of July, which means reading time will be limited during at least that week. So, and also watching time. Little nieces and nephews love to see what Auntie Cindy is doing on her phone. So, I had already watched, I watched 20 episodes of From Mansfield with Love. Then I watched about 6 or more at the beginning of last month. And then after I heard all of the challenges, I was like, oh, why didn't I just get it done? So yes, I binge watched all the rest of From Mansfield with Love. So I will save a full report on that, except to say I found it very interesting. And if you're looking for a Mansfield Park adaptation, I can't say that they are wrong. That to date, that is probably the best one done. Sad but true. someday we will get a Mansfield Park adaptation that works. They're probably going to have to use some sort of gimmick, though, for that. Kind of like what they were able to do in this WebTube series. And the reason why I say that is because so much of Mansfield Park are Fanny's interior thoughts and feelings, which she never lets on to anyone else. I guess I should say the whole premise of From Mansfield with Love is Frank Price. She works as a cleaning lady for the Hotel Mansfield Park, owned by the Bertram family. You can see a lot of where that's going. She still has a brother in the Royal Navy, though, and communication can be a little bit difficult. So, very first episode, she says she just got a new video camera from him. He wants her to record her, just life happening around her. And so that is exactly what happens. But because a lot of times we see Fanny filming up in her little room, we also, well, this is her brother Will we are talking about. There's probably no one she is closer to in the whole earth than her big brother Will. No one she is more comfortable and confiding in than him. And so, yeah, she ends up basically telling him all her inner thoughts and feelings. So we do get all of that across in this web series. And so that is what I mean that if we're ever going to get an official version of Mansfield Park, it can be period and everything like that, and I'm sure they could find some good casting, but they're going to have to find some way, could be a completely different way, but the same general idea like that of Fanny getting her thoughts and feelings across. And it won't be me that will figure that out today, at least. But anyway, those are my plans for Jane Austen July. If I actually get through all of that, then I am going to say, well, one, I can catch up on anything I have in my pile. But two, I do have one or two other things on my Kindle that I might be interested in reading. Oh, that reminds me, I've gotten through a bit of this, as you can see. Truth Universally Acknowledged, 33 Great Writers and Why We Read Jane Austen. There we go. So if I probably won't finish this. It's hard to read more than one or two at a time, but if I can get more read during Jane Austen July, that would be wonderful. So, those are my plans. And I would love to hear all about your reading plans for July. Are you going to be participating in Jane Austen July too? Are you going to do all of the challenges or just the general challenge of reading a work by Jane Austen? And what's your favorite Jane Austen book? I have thoughts about this, but I am waiting to do a full video about which is my favorite of the 6 main Jane Austen novels until I have had a chance to reread them all. I've already reread Sense and Sensibility and Northanger Abbey, and so with Persuasion and Mansfield Park, that just leaves Pride and Prejudice and Emma. So, might get to that by the end of this year. It would be wonderful if I do. And the biggest reason why I am waiting on this is Emma. Yes, I have feelings about Emma. You may not like my feelings about Emma, but I have feelings about Emma. And to be fair to Emma, I want to definitely reread that one before I make a final official list, at least for this read through. So, thank you so much for stopping by Cindy's Library. I truly do appreciate it. Feel free to leave comments and suggestions below. And until next time, I hope we all stay healthy and safe, and happy reading.